You get one news really trend this morning. I think early hours of today, yeah. Where they say Gabon, which is in Central Africa, they did their elections, I think, early hours of today, which is their current president, Ali Bongo. Man, we get stroke, we get partial stroke. Man, we say the waka, the limp. Man, we go, I think, was he not in France or I think one gathering is also this man stand the peace for body, for where dignitaries, the way men of valor, men around Africa, men from Africa, I mean top leaders from Africa and from the whites, the country, they were having a conference meeting. Baba stand the peace for him, but Baba don't know any peace safe. Imagine that. So they had an election early hours of today. So 1 hour after, the military took over power and nullified the election. I said the election has been cancelled because this Ali Bongo, which had partial stroke, won again by 63.7%. So, and this Ali Bongo took over power from his father in the year 1999. 2009. He took power from his father, 2009. And his papa, wey be Umar Bongo, has ruled for 42 years. He ruled from 1967 till 2009, where he died. The pikin got taken over from 2009 till 2023 before military took over power. African power. But wait, how power they intoxicate Africans too much. We too like power. We like to dey on top. How can you don't get stroke, man? We don't get stroke. With the hand they shake, leg they shake, you still dey power. Come on, what are we saying? Africa, this is time for us to let us change this mentality of you must be in power. Power is everything, man. Power is not everything, man. Okay, look at it now. He thought he would rule again after staying there for like I think 12 years or 14 years after he took over from his father. He for a man, he thinks whether he could continue the power till 7 years again. Not knowing say he get a CB. Africans now, let's even say something. Now, military are taking over. Here and there you see Gabon, you see Niger, you see Botswana, you see all African countries. I think about 9 or so, or 6 or there about African countries will be taken over by the military junta. Now they ask if the president, before they take over power from them, if they did do well, should the military go form coup? Tell me, I should show you that our African leaders are not doing the right thing. And this thing, I already they know. These things are things they ought to do because, I mean, they are traveling. They see things outside. They travel, go countries outside. They see as their own country be. They see as their own economy be. Why can't they do the same thing in Africa? Because they allow us suffer for no reason. When we have all these things, we have everything to make our country grow, to make us live large. But they keep on keeping these things for only them and their unborn children. Then allow us to suffer. It's not nice, man. This is appalling. Nigeria, when we not tongue, I wait for that. Okay, let's read the news according to BBC News. They come back.
Army officers have appeared on national television in Gabon, claiming they've taken power. Gabon, a former French colony, is located on the west coast of Central Africa. The army officers said they were annulling the results of Saturday's election that had returned President Ali Bongo to power. Gunfire has been reported in the capital Libreville. The group behind what appears to be a coup says the borders are currently closed, and they also claim to have the support of the armed forces. This comes after the Electoral Commission said President Bongo had won just under 2/3 of the votes in an election the opposition argued was fraudulent. Concerns over delays in returning the election results led to an internet shutdown and a nighttime curfew by the government that was still in place as of Monday. Mr. Bongo came to power when his father Omar died in 2009. If he has been overthrown, it would end his family's 53-year hold on power in Gabon. Well, let's go live now to Will Ross in Nairobi. Will, there are lots of claims being made there, but how much do we know about what is actually happening on the ground?
Well, as you say, there has been some gunfire in the capital, Libreville, which suggests it's not kind of a done and dusted coup that was quick and finished. But there was this extraordinary appearance on state TV, this video with about 12 members of the armed forces. They've now said they've set up the Committee for the Transition and Restoration of Institutions, which is the kind of title that military men give to themselves when they've seized power. They seem to be from a fairly broad range of the armed forces, which might suggest this military action has broad support within the armed forces, but not clear if it's over yet. We don't know where President Ali Bongo is at the moment. As you said in the introduction, he'd only just been declared the winner of this election, which the opposition and observers have really dismissed as a bit of a sham. The President Ali Bongo was given over 60%, 64% of the votes. The opposition man, Albert Ondo Ossa, got 30%, but he was only chosen as the candidate just over a week before the polls opened. The rules of the election had changed. The ballot papers, the way the voting was done was changed very late on. But perhaps these military men who have seized power, perhaps they've just had enough of the Bongo family that have been in power since 1967. First of all, Omar Bongo for over 4 decades. He then dies and Ali Bongo steps into his place. And even back in 2018, when the President Ali Bongo had a stroke, he was completely out of action and wasn't seen for over 9 months, I think 10 months in total, but didn't step down and then came back to power. And then there's been this disputed election, and previous elections have also been disputed, resulting in protests by the opposition and protesters being gunned down. But we have to wait and see whether this is a completed coup or whether it's still kind of in progress and whether there will be any resistance from other elements of the armed forces.
Well, yes, Will, that brings me on to the next point, which is what can we expect might happen next? Because, as we said earlier, there was an internet shutdown that was put in place and a nighttime curfew as well. What is the situation likely to develop into?
Well, yes, that internet shutdown makes it very difficult for us to get through to people in Gabon. But I mean, if it sticks, this coup, they've already said they've shut the borders. Then presumably we'll find out where President Bongo is being held. But I suppose for the wider African continent, you know, this is coming hot on the heels of the coup in Niger, which is still causing, you know, a lot of political turbulence. The African Union will be perhaps not completely surprised by this, because it just seems that there's this pattern in West and Central Africa, across the Sahel countries before this one in Gabon, where disgruntled military officers seem to just think that they can seize power and lock up the president and then do as they please. What tends to happen after that is the African Union or other regional bodies issue a lot of criticism, perhaps even suspend that country, but then negotiations start for when there'll be a return to civilian rule. But we'll see if this coup is over or still in progress.
Will, thanks for bringing us the latest on that developing situation. That's our correspondent Will Ross in Nairobi.